All right, welcome to Reality Rundown, episode 12, recapping tonight's episode of Big Brother All-Stars. I'm your host, Connor Nelson, along with my co-host, Christian Holman. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a like. Please subscribe if you would like. If you're watching on Twitch and you're new, leave a follow. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a long 3 days. Lots happened in the Big Brother house. Lots happened in the Holman house, So it's just good to be here.
Lots happened in the Holman house.
Oh, yeah. No drama, but a lot's happened.
So tonight's episode was clearly the veto episode. And we have Kevin and Kaser on the block. And I don't think Kevin realizes that he is in no trouble whatsoever.
Yeah, Kevin is just...
He's lost.
I think Kevin has like some complex that makes him think that like he's this bigger personality in the house than he is.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, oh no, I'm on the block. I need to panic. Everyone's out to get me.
The season's ruined. I'm on the block. I'm not going. Yeah.
Making his little pouty puppy dog face. He puppy dog faces the camera. He's gonna get America's favorite house guest because of that, I'd say.
No, I think he will get least favorite. No, he'll get runner up behind David. But yeah, it's just like it shows him in the diary room, and he's just like he literally sounds like he's dying. Like he sounds like he's sick. He's gonna like crying, and he's just like I don't know why this is happening, dude. There's clearly a big target. He's up on the block with you. Everybody wants him out. You're okay.
I can't believe I'm just so blindsided. I thought me and Enzo were good, but apparently I was played a fool.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, nothing should have made you feel that way. You haven't talked to him. You guys, you're friends, but you're not like close. So
yeah, I mean it sucks being the pawn. It sucks being that guy, but don't make yourself like you're putting a target on your back by doing this. Like just ride it out, be relaxed, go with the flow. Kaser goes home, and hey, you're off the block. Like just calm down.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I think it's gonna be a good thing overall in the house, as it almost got really good because of that of him losing his mind. But I think if the right situation happens, might be able to create some chaos in the house, which would be good.
Yeah, but he goes and talks to Enzo in the HOH room, and Enzo's like, dude, you're the pawn. You're not the target. Like, I'm sorry I did this. It's not going to happen again. I'm not going to put you up ever again. This is the last time. This is the one and only time. It's just I had to get someone up there against Kaser. Everybody loves you. You're fine. Just relax. Like, you are not the target. And it's very clear Kevin is not the target. But still, Kevin is still, like, freaking out.
Yeah, he's just a worry wart. I just now thought of it the way you worded it. It's kind of like, I'll never put you up again. Because you're going home this week, Kevin.
Yeah.
So that's...
But this is not the case. It's just not the case.
Yeah, it's not what's happened. But I'm sure that's what Kevin heard.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand anything about Kevin. He's just not very good at the game. He's literally there just, I think, as a last-minute decision. I don't really know why they picked him to come back. I would honestly, I don't know. I would rather have JC, to be honest. I mean, at least JC brought some excitement, brought some entertainment. I know he's problematic, but like...
I would have loved that. JC was one of my favorite house guests of all time. He was so funny.
He wouldn't mope around the whole time, at least.
No, he would be burning people up.
So then it goes to Christmas and Nicole talking. And they're like, it's very clear that Enzo just went the safe route. Like, we're fine with it. It's not us, so who cares? But there was definitely some bigger targets he could have gone after, and he probably should have.
I wasn't listening. Say that again. Sorry, buddy.
Nicole and Christmas talking about how he just took the safe route and how, like, they're fine with it because it's not them. But there's definitely some bigger targets that he should have taken and could have gone after.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like there is many options, though. The only options he has is Kaser, in terms of who's not in alliance on his basis. You have Kaser, Kevin, David, who else? Ian. Is there anyone else that he's not in an alliance with?
Is Memphis? He's not in the committee.
Oh yeah, he's not in the committee. Or the other one, the other big one.
The commission, the committee. I don't know. I don't know. There's so many at this point. Like
the commission-committee is
the
only
same thing.
Cody and Enzo.
Yeah,
that's only Cody Enzo. What was the initial big alliance that Memphis wanted to make?
The committee. That's the committee. The commission is Cody and
Ah.
Memphis, and then the committee is Tyler, Danny, Nicole. I don't know. Either way, Enzo's not. I don't think Enzo's connected to Memphis, which is kind of weird. But yeah, he didn't have many options. But as the week progresses, and we'll see this later on, he definitely could have done something, and he just kind of chose like, I'm just gonna sit back and relax this week.
Yeah, it would have been great to see him throw any of the people he was considering aside from Christmas up.
And really, I don't understand the Kaser move. Like, he's by himself. He doesn't have anybody. He clearly likes Enzo. Like, I get Enzo's probably like, well, I'm in power. Of course he likes me. But, like, you could easily reel him in. And Enzo needs, and I guess he thinks he has Christmas, but he needs that person to reel in and have as his person besides the alliance. And I think he just is blinded by Christmas.
Yeah, which I think Christmas is actually really solid for him. But I think
she's definitely picking Tyler, though. If it's down to Tyler and Enzo, she's taking Tyler.
Which I don't think it's going to come down. I don't think it's going to come between Tyler and Enzo, though. I think there's a fair chance one of them gets nominated by someone else sooner, which will likely be Tyler, as he's the bigger threat. So, which as soon as we get rid of Kevin, I think next week alliances are going to turn on each other. Like, because Danny's had
it's definitely coming.
Yeah, Danny has had sights on her 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if she's feeling it at all, or even thinking about targeting other people in her alliance. But she's definitely, if any of the main 3 people that's won an HOH this summer, she's going up on the block.
Yeah, 100%, and it's very clear later on as to why. But yeah, going along with the Kaser thing, it's like he goes up and talks to Enzo. And it's very clear that, like, he's like, dude, like, I know, like, I get why you put me up. There's no hard feelings. I understand. Everybody wants me on the block, which I don't know why. Again, I don't get it. But he's like, I understand. But if somehow I stay, I'm not coming after you. Me and you are good. We're solid. And Enzo makes him feel good, which that's the good thing. Like, Enzo's playing a great game, and he's making it seem like Kaser's all good with him. And, like, if he does stay, he's good with Enzo. But then Enzo, like, instantly in the diary room's like, of course he's coming to talking game with me. Like, I got power. Of course he's going to come up and act like, oh, you're good. Oh, you're safe. But we know, like, that's not true.
Yeah.
But I think Kaser, like, means it.
Yeah, I think he does too. It's so funny. Like, Kaser kind of puts his foot in his mouth a lot. Like, he literally goes, I got a good sense of telling people when people are honest with me. And then immediately it cuts to Enzo going, this guy's not safe.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like, dude, Kaser feels really in tune, and he's just not in tune with what's going on.
Yeah, not at all. Bailey and David, this conversation is just, again, David is just clueless. They're just talking about how he feels and how things are going since the thing happened last week with him, like, basically throwing Tyler and Cody under the bus and Davon and Bailey getting involved. And he's just like, I don't really know where I stand in the house. I don't really feel like I have anybody. And it's like, of course, like, you screwed over the people that were helping you. So, like, what could you expect?
Yeah, which, I think he was actually insightful. I don't know if anyone told him or not, but I don't think he was super clueless in that conversation necessarily. I think that he realized he screwed up big time. No one trusts him. He is literally on his back foot.
But I think that in his mind, he's like, if I can win a comp, it's just everything's erased and we're good, and I show them. But, like, that's not how it works. Like, you have to, like, go and talk to these people, and, like, and he just can't. I feel like it's just not in his body to be able to do that.
Yeah, he has it in his head that people don't trust him or something in particular because
don't value him as a player.
And he hasn't proved himself.
Yeah.
But when in fact the issue that people have with him is
he can't keep his mouth shut.
He's dumb. He's not doing the right things in the house. So it's like, dude, now maybe if you win a comp, you get some power on your side. Maybe that's good for you, but it needs to be an HOH, not a POV. No one cares about the POV.
No, definitely. And I don't understand why he thinks that, like, if he wins a comp, everything is just like, oh, he's up here now. He's like, oh, like, safe with everybody, good with everybody. Everybody's going to forget what he did. It's like, no, go talk to these people, start building these relationships back up, and then they will start trusting you more. Not just you're going to sit back, do nothing, win a comp, and, oh, you're good.
which I think becoming friendly with Kevin was actually pretty decent with him, even though Kevin's the one reaching out with him. It's still a good potential move as he may be able to branch out if some way one of them win power, HOH this upcoming week, they could really shake it up working together, opposed to them being infiltrated super easily by that major alliance. Yeah. So I refuse to root for David at the moment.
I can't. Again, I won't watch the show. I will never watch the show again if he wins the game.
But I would like to
I'll say it every episode.
I would like to see someone not in that big, the Slick Six or the Commission or the Commanded or
Ian.
whatever.
I would like to see Ian win.
That'd be great.
Yep.
That would be great.
Ian would be the perfect one. Which, speaking of, it goes to him and Enzo talking up in the HOH room, and Ian's like, in the nomination ceremony, he talked about how they didn't talk game with him and how no one's been talking game with him. So I'm gonna try to cover my back by talking a little game with Enzo, which is very clear what you're doing, Ian. You're not fooling anybody. But he's up there, and it's super this whole conversation is super awkward. And Ian's kind of fishing, who do you think you would put up if someone came down? And he's just trying to see if he's okay. But it's very transparent what you're doing.
Yeah, it was so awkward. Ian's super awkward as is.
Yeah.
But it's the idea of Enzo's talking, he wants to talk game. Now I'm going to give him game. It makes sense, but he didn't do it correctly as he instantly goes to, who you putting on the block?
Yeah.
I think I'm safe, right? Well, he should have been strategizing opposed to picking his brain.
Yeah, exactly. He should have been working that move of I feel like I could work with you, and I know it's hard when someone's HOH going up there and just being oh I love you, you're the best, but it's kind of something you got to maneuver, which I don't think Ian's the best at doing. So
no, I think Ian's more of an opportunist. Something comes in his favor, he jumps on it, gets a little power in some way. Which when he played the game, he didn't have a big alliance, if I remember correctly. I think he worked with Dan, and that was about all he worked with.
Well, they had the Quack Pack.
That's right, Quack.
But he just got brought into it last second, kind of
Yep.
I think Jen brought him up on the leash, and it was Frank, Boogie, Dan, Danielle, Brittany, and Shane. And actually, was it Boogie and Frank in the Quack Pack? I think they were originally, and then they just cut them instantly. But he got brought up there, and he named it the Quack Pack, and that was what it was until the end. But
yeah, Quack Pack, that's really iconic. Now I forgot about that.
But I think that Ian kind of believed that he kind of made that alliance when in reality he was just brought in last second to it. But
yeah,
I don't know if he knows that now, or I'm sure he does, but.
Well, he probably doesn't feel that way. I mean, a lot of people who get eliminated in some way, they still feel like they played a great game and they deserve to win. It's who was it? Nicole Franzel talking about how that she deserved to beat Paul. It's everyone says my win was a fluke because Paul deserved it, but I think I did. No, I think Paul probably deserved it. I can't hear what you're saying. There it is. But
it was just bitter jury, and she got the win because of it. Which, I mean, it's a win. She won. You can't take that away from her, but it's still
she got $500,000, and he did not.
Yeah. So after this conversation, Enzo tells Cody that he just not feeling comfortable with Ian. He doesn't, of course he's coming up talking game now that I have power. Just the typical Enzo, dude, of course. Of course you're up here now. And Cody's still just Kaser's got to go this week. Don't try anything crazy. Kaser has to leave. Which... I get why Cody wants Kaser out so bad because Kaser's definitely going to go for Cody. But for everybody else, I don't know why they're pushing so hard for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand. Well, I understand some people, and a lot of people I don't think are actually pushing for it opposed to going with it.
Going with it, yeah.
Where you have a couple loud people in the house, like Cody. He's going to be a loud, powerful voice in a group, typically. And if someone is not as loud a voice or they're not necessarily wanting to show their cards yet, they're going to be okay, I'll go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this conversation definitely shows that like this is the start of Ian may get backdoored, and I know like he was thinking about it before nominations. Like if Kaser does come down, Ian's going up, but I think this is definitely pushing that in the right like that direction. If something happens and one comes down, Ian is definitely going to be in consideration of going up, which honestly wouldn't be a bad move because Ian's in a really good spot. Well, not a really good spot. He's in a decent spot, and he's a winner, so he's dangerous, and no one's really seems to be talking about him.
Yeah, I think Ian's in a pretty solid position in the moment in the game. Which so long as the big alliance will turn on each other next week, he's good. If they don't, he's obviously the threat.
Yeah,
the target,
someone from the outside has to win power like this week, or not even this week really, because I think Danny goes if someone else gets it. But next week, like that next week and the next week, someone's got to like make a shift. But with Danny, if Danny does get out next week, I think that is the shift, and things could really open up.
Yeah, I think Danny, if Danny goes home next week, or let's say she goes home next week, or even let's just say she gets nominated. If she just gets nominated, lines will be drawn. You've got certain people going to go with her, so we're going to go the other way. We'll start a turf war. It'd be great, especially if she doesn't go home and they end up sending someone else home. But I don't know, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, especially if it happens. What do you think about Memphis's morning show?
I like the concept.
Mornings with Memphis.
Segments like this on Big Brother, I usually enjoy. They're usually very. I get a good little laugh, chuckle out of them. You know how it is. But and the fact that they just guessed basically wrong on almost everything is obviously accurate. I mean, you're not who's going to assume they're going to get it right, but it's just cool to see the way they think the world's going. When they have no information as to what it really is.
I think this definitely shows how Memphis is definitely a better player when he's not HOH. Like as long as he stays out of power, he is a much better socially, much better just laying back, relaxing, not really like mixing it up any. And it's definitely shown like the past week with him not being in power of like, or it's been 2 weeks, right? Yeah, 2 weeks of like him just laying back. You don't really hear his name come up. Like he's actually like. After his HOH reign, everybody was like, I hate Memphis. Like, we're getting Memphis out next week. Memphis is done. And then the past 2 weeks, it's just been like, no one's talking about Memphis.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, power went to his head. It was his first HOH ever.
Yep.
I doubt he learned his lesson.
No, definitely not. No.
Mentioned it to him, but it's like he doesn't have power.
He probably thinks he killed it.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
Especially now since like no one's really talked about it and like no one's going after him and being like hostile with him. Everybody seems to like love Memphis now that he's not in power.
Yeah, which the main reason everybody disliked him is because he was kind of bullyish to David.
Yeah.
And he also didn't want to do what people wanted him to do. But then everyone's realizing now that we're not week 2, David doesn't know what he's doing, and everybody's just trashing him the whole time. And who was HOH last week?
Tyler.
Yeah, and Tyler did the same thing where he didn't really want to do anything too crazy.
Yeah.
He just did the straight up move. So we were like, okay, well, I guess that's just kind of the way.
Well, Tyler was kind of like it's kind of different than this week, especially after the veto. But like last week with Tyler, it was like literally every single person. Like there was not one person in the house that wanted something different. Like everybody wanted Janelle out. So like there really wasn't anything he could do. But this week with Enzo, like there was definitely a move to be made, and he just chose not to.
Yeah.
So there's a big. I think there's a big difference between last week and this week, but we'll get to it. So then we go to Kevin in the photo room with David, and it's clear that Kevin really has no idea who's on his side, who he's got with him. Which I think Davon and him are pretty tight, but like I don't know. It's just weird. But you can tell that he's just like he's grasping at anything. Like if he gets house guest choice, who is he gonna pick? Who's gonna maybe pull him off? And so he's like, David, how do you feel about playing for me? And David's like, oh, I'll definitely play for you. And David is definitely saying this just because he wants to play and win a comp, not because he wants to help Kevin or wants to pull Kevin off. He just wants to show that he can win.
Which I think do you think you would have pulled him off? I think you would have pulled him off.
I don't.
You don't think you would have?
No, because I think Tyler and Cody both would have been like told him not to, and he'd be like, oh, this is my way of showing them that like I'm with them and like I'm not doing anything crazy.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, he kind of wants to do something crazy. As he's starting to feel like he is on the outs.
I definitely don't think he would have, but you never know. I just think that would have put more of a target on him, especially. It all depends on if people told him, like, maybe he would have gone against Enzo, but I don't think he would have gone against Tyler and Cody. Again.
Well, I think what would have happened is people would have been like, David, if you pull him off, you will become a target.
Yeah, and then he
I think he would.
Oh, and then he'd do it in spite.
He'd be like, "Oh,
you're not telling
you're
me.
gonna threaten me?
Yeah, you're not telling me."
I think that's what he would have done.
Maybe, but he tells Kevin that he'll play for him, and Kevin's like, "Oh, perfect, sweet, sounds great." So as soon as this is over, we get the nomination, or not the nomination, but the veto players picked, and it's just very standard, pulling the chips out. Enzo goes first. Tyler, first one, of course. I think he's played in every. Yeah, he has. He's played in every veto this year. 4 straight.
Yep, he's getting them all. He's running the table.
And they joked about it being rigged and stuff, but like, if they were to rig it, like, it would be very hard. Like, because it's very easy of them just to pour all the chips out, and there's 5 Tyler chips there. Like, it's very clear that it's not possible.
Yeah, it's not rigged. But we can go ahead and head into the HOH from this because or the POV. It was weird to see them do it. This season they've done 2 endurance comps for POV, and I don't think they've done an endurance for HOH. So
No.
And Tyler did not perform too great either.
No. So we have Tyler, Kaser, Enzo, Bailey, David, and Kevin. And Kevin does pick David. He gets house guest choice and does pick David. But yeah, so it's an endurance comp where it's called the Puppet Master, and there's ropes, and they have to put their feet in these like whole like stirrups and hold on to like the ropes, of course, and they move. And so yeah, it was. I mean, it didn't seem like it was
tough.
like.
I thought it was pretty tough looking.
Maybe, yeah, it was. Especially if like you're not flexible, because
I think the first 10, 15 minutes is good. It wouldn't be too bad. But then once you start getting that
30
20-minute
minutes,
range, 30-minute range, it's like, oh man, this is tough.
Yeah, and
Which
you could
the
tell because
competition-
everybody was shaking.
Yeah, the competition lasted, 45 minutes?
It didn't say. The last 2 didn't say, so it probably close to, because Bailey went out at 33 minutes, and so the last 2 in were, it was probably
I saw an
45.
update at 42 at one point, so I don't know.
I didn't see that, but you may have. I don't know.
I'm probably just seeing things I typically do. But
no, and I also think that the paint splatter made it immensely harder, because think about like holding on, like it would get super slick.
Yeah, and those cannons, they weren't just spraying on them. They were blasting them.
Yeah, 100%. So
and I guess it was pretty loud too, because everyone was jumping, freaking out, screaming.
So Kaser, like early on, you could tell Kaser was struggling. Like it panned to him, and he was shaking already. It was like maybe 10 minutes in, and it looked like he was struggling. So it was very clear that he wasn't going to do well. And of course, he's the first one out, and he lasted 12 minutes and 29 seconds, which again just wasn't very good. And it sucks. Like I was pulling for him, but when I saw it was endurance, I was like, "There's no way." Like he's
yeah, especially who he's going against. He's going against Kevin, really small. Tyler, really small. Who else did he go against? David, Bailey. David's not super small,
but he's strong.
Bailey,
like he,
but usually strength. Bigger guys aren't the
best.
biggest.
Yeah.
But Kaser's not necessarily in the best of shape either. But yeah, I mean, everyone he went against, Enzo, super small. He went against literally. It was like the worst case scenario, competition wise for in what's his name, Kaser.
Yeah. So Enzo goes out second with 18 minutes, and again he was just struggling. He wasn't doing well. He didn't seem to do good in an endurance comp, which later on, like, it's good for everybody else. It shows that they can beat him in that. And oddly enough, like, I thought Tyler would win this. Like, I thought there's no way Tyler's getting beat in this. And I don't know if he threw it, which he could have. I don't know. But I feel like this was designed for Tyler.
Nah, I actually predicted Kevin to win. I figured to be really flexible.
Kevin's just, he doesn't do, like, he's just, I feel like he's just weak and just not like, I don't know. Kevin just doesn't do it for me.
It's competitions like this are really, they even out tables. It's just like guys win, girls win, and it's not about who's the strongest. It's not about who's the biggest, smallest. It's just everyone has a good, decent chance. The bigger guys actually tend to struggle. The stronger you are, it typically hurts you a little bit.
Yeah. And then Bailey goes out, and I think she just slipped. I don't even think like she went out because she was tired so much.
No,
I don't know. Her foot, no, because her foot slipped, and so she was going for the other one, and when she did, she went back, and then her foot.
I think so. About a minute before it showed her falling, we saw her almost fall, and I think that she played it off as, oh, my foot just slipped. No, I think her foot.
Maybe,
I think she lost her grip because she was getting tired,
Yeah.
and then she couldn't get it back because she was tired. I mean, we saw Kevin at 40 minutes go in and grab it and recover.
Put his foot back in.
Yeah.
So maybe. Yeah. And then it's down to David and Kevin, and it just keeps going back to David in the DR. Like, I'm gonna win. Like, if you want to take this, you're gonna have to take it from me. Like, I'm not just gonna hand it to you, because Kevin was like, dude, like, we're good. You're good. Just let me have this. And I don't.
Is so bad.
True, but like, I don't understand. Like, again, it's just because David wants to win a cop and prove himself. But like, he did not need to win this. Like,
I mean, if Kevin comes off, who's going up? David was a reasonable.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. He thinks he's solid with them. He doesn't know that he's even in the realm, because Enzo even told him, he's like, dude, you're good. Like, you're not going up. You're safe. And so he thinks he's fine. And like, if he wants to work with Kevin, like, if you win this, you got to take him. You got to take him down, or Kevin's never gonna work with you. So like, if you want to even like grasp at anything with Kevin, you got to let Kevin have this one.
Yeah, which I think now, if the David won POV and pulls Kevin off,
it's a terrible move.
I don't think Christmas goes on the block. I think they put a bigger name on the block, because I think they would have thought that there was something conspiring in the house. I think it would have caused a lot more panic. But since Kevin won, it made it more routine.
Maybe, but I disagree, just because it's David, and no, like, literally they were talking like, he's a wild card. We don't know what he would do with it. Like, they knew that if he wins, there's a chance he uses it. So like, they know that David's kind of out on an island by himself. So I just don't think that
they would have
anything,
panicked.
David. I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
I don't know.
So after this, we well, actually, we missed a little bit, but it was kind of small talking.
Kevin wins POV.
Yeah, Kevin
and
wins.
That's the end of it. Yep.
Yeah. So we kind of skipped some things, so I'm off. But either way, we get a Christmas and Enzo talk, and they're just talking about like, what are we gonna do? Like, who's gonna go up? And he's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I just haven't really thought about it. And Christmas is like, well, I mean, if you need me, I'll go up. And it's like, what are you doing? Why would you say that?
I mean, Christmas is a big-time team player, but goodness, it's not a good move. I mean, she's literally already solid with everybody. She didn't need to volunteer.
No, she did not need to do that.
What she could have done is recommend he ask someone to be a pawn, which is the best way to do that, especially if she's trying to become his number one, you know?
Yeah.
It just didn't make a lot of sense. And then for
I don't understand that move at all.
It was really, really weird.
I don't get that move at all. It's like, why even put yourself in that position when you don't need to? Like, Enzo was not thinking about putting you up whatsoever. Your name had not been brought up at all. He likes you, wants to work with you. Like, you're not going on the block. Why put yourself in that position, especially for later weeks of like, oh, Christmas has already been a pawn. She doesn't care to be a pawn. Let's just throw her up there. And then she goes home based off just like,
well, it does give her the excuse of, I already volunteered to be a pawn. I don't want to do it again.
It's still not a good move.
It is a bad move. It does grow trust in a sense.
But she already had that trust.
And exactly. At the same time, it's like, you already have that trust. No reason to no reason to
put yourself in a position to go home. Yeah.
Because
like, it's just,
like, if I'm Kaser, I'm spreading. I'm going to play the whole honesty card, but I'm lying like crazy.
Yeah.
Christmas is in everyone's ear. She's friends with everybody, or maybe not even Christmas, but someone that Christmas is working with.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I just don't understand that move at all, and I think it's just a very, very dumb move of her. But I did want to talk about the Kaser and Bailey conversation, because this was just this is why that I was very like hesitant to be like, I'm pulling for Bailey. I like Bailey, because this is the side of her that I can't stand. I just can't do it. And this conversation is, Kaser goes up. They're sitting in the bathroom, and he's like, so how do you feel? Like, what are you gonna do if you win? And this is before the veto happens. And he's like, would you pull me off if you won? And she's just like, now's not the time to ask that. And he's like, I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, I need to know like who I've got and what I need to do. And he thinks that like they're close because before when Janelle was there, they were all like all the time talking, all the time together. Like, but when Janelle leaves, Bailey wants to separate. But Kaser doesn't see that until I guess this conversation when he's like, "Oh, okay, sorry, like whatever. I guess I don't have you."
Yeah, Bailey is just so confrontational, just like in general. Like,
yeah,
like if she misreads you at all, she thinks like you're going against her big time or trying to corner her or something like that. And
yeah, he's just like, I don't want this season for us to just get picked off. Like, you're not in the big alliance. I'm not in the big alliance. And she takes that, and she thinks she's in the big alliance, when in reality, she's on the outskirts of it. They're like, Davon and Baylor are the first two out of the alliance, but she thinks she's, like, in this core thing and that she can't be touched. But in reality, she's not. And so Kaser sees this, and he's like, listen, like, we're just going to get picked off. Like, this is kind of what happened. This is what happened in your season, and they didn't show this, but he said that, and that really made her mad. She's like, I don't want to think about my season. I don't want to talk about my season. Like, you don't know what happened. You weren't there. You didn't play it. So, and she just got really defensive and like really like aggravated with Kaser about this whole conversation when Kaser's just trying to help her.
Well, I mean, obviously he's trying to help himself, but at the same time, it's potentially beneficial. Now, even if she doesn't pull him off, at the minimum, at least he's helping you realize something that is a possibility.
He just doesn't want the outsiders, which they are in a sense, to get picked off one by one, and the season end up just like the past few seasons have been. And she's not having it. And this is exactly why I can't, like, I'm very hesitant, like I said, to pull for Bailey.
Yeah, I mean, she blows up every season. I think we're going to see it again soon. Or not every season, but everything she's been on so far, she's just blown up on at least one person. So I'm just waiting to see it happen again.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. Also, I want to talk about Memphis being the host. Like, again, that just shows that, like, when he's not in power, he's really good. Like, he's just really relaxed, really fun to be around. And that was definitely showing, like, him being the host was definitely showing that.
Yeah, he's had some good energy, as I heard. I heard people really liked his energy. And it was really good. You found it yet?
Yeah, I was struggling. Cause we literally like skipped like this much of it, so like I'm trying to like bounce back to it. But yeah, Enzo comes in, like this is after the veto. Enzo comes into the HOH room, and it's Nicole and Cody laying in bed, and he's just like, what are we gonna do? Who are we gonna put up? And the first thing that he says, and like Cody said, I don't know who said it, Cody or Enzo. They were like, well, Ian would be a really good option, just throwing up there, like. He's good. He's a champion. And Nicole's sitting there like, please don't put Ian up. Like, she's not saying this because she knows, like, she doesn't need to really throw that out there. But she does not want Ian gone.
Yeah, she's definitely – I mean, why would she, yeah, she wants her alliance to go. But there's nothing she can do about it. There's literally nothing – if she argues it, she's a target.
Yep.
And if she doesn't, then he goes home. So it's just like – or potentially goes home. So it's just like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Just serve yourself in that situation.
Yep. Yeah, so that's basically the only option they have at this point. Like, Ian really is, like, at this point, who's going up, I feel like. But after this is when Christmas volunteers, and Benzo's like, perfect, I got to volunteer. I don't have to worry about anything. I'll just throw her up there and just say, sorry, like you said you would. And, yeah, so basically Christmas screwed herself. Which she's not gonna go home. She's not gonna go home, but it's still just I just don't get it.
I think she screwed Kaser, not necessarily herself, and she saved potentially Danny.
Yeah, true. But again, we'll get to this. I just think this is stupid. Like Enzo drove me nuts this week, and we'll get to it, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But we get to a scene where Bailey, Davon, and Danny are in the have-not room, and they're talking about who's going to be put up as the replacement. And they're just like, we need to have a meeting with the Slick Six and figure this out. And so Danny's like, all right, give me a minute. I'll go see what's going on, and we'll get a meeting going. And so she walks over to the HOH room, and it's Tyler and Nicole sitting in there. And she's like, hey, Bailey and Davon want to have a meeting. And Tyler's like, what do you mean? And she's like,
she didn't say names. She didn't say names. She said they.
No. She said Bailey and Davon.
Oh, she said that in the actual
Oh, yeah. She, like,
Wow.
blatantly said Bailey and Davon, and he's like, what do you mean they want to have a meeting? And he's like, do they want to have, like, a house meeting? Because he's, like, trying to play it off that, like, there's no reason that they would want to have a meeting just with them. Because he doesn't think Nicole knows about it, and I don't know if Danny had already told her about it or not, but, like, Nicole, at this point, doesn't know about the Slick Six. At least Tyler doesn't think she does. And, she's like, no, like, she wants to talk to us right now about the replacement. And so she leaves, Danny leaves, and Tyler's like, I think she just slipped up saying that. And Nicole's like, yeah, she definitely slipped up saying that. And so at this point, Tyler is completely sketched out by Danny.
Yeah, which I don't think she was sitting there trying to out anything. But
no, I think what happened here.
Into the room, and she's comfortable with Nicole. She tells Nicole mostly everything.
I think what happened here is she had already told Nicole about the Slick Six and forgot that she either wasn't in it or that she forgot that she had already told her, or thinks that, oh, I've already told her, we're good. Like, it doesn't matter that she knows. And she just did it, like, not thinking. But again, like, you can't trust someone that's doing that.
So she has definitely told Nicole about it, though.
I think so. But if not, she just had, like, she just thought that Nicole was in this one because there's so much going on that she probably just like, oh, like, Nicole's in the Slick Six, but she's not. Yeah,
by the way, you forgot to say bless you, but it's okay.
I thought you'd do it for yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, she definitely slipped up with Tyler. Tyler's going to sketched out.
And before this, like, Tyler's already sketched out by Danny and really wants her out sooner than later. And this is just his opportunity to be like, oh, perfect. Like, she's giving me this. We can run with this.
Yeah, I think Danny's playing real hard.
For no reason. She's in a great spot. And, like, for her just to do all. Yeah. She was in a great spot. And she's just basically, like, digging her own grave.
Yeah, which initially, the first week or two, it's like, dang, Danny's playing good. She's playing hard. She's doing things. But then it's like everything you do in that house adds up. And everything is noticed. Nothing goes unnoticed just about in that house. So you got to play your cards right.
So it goes to Tyler instantly goes to Enzo, and he's like, Danny came in here, basically blew up our whole Slick Six with Nicole sitting right there. He's like, we can't be having that. And Enzo's like, what? Like, why would she do this? What is going on? And this is when the ball starts getting rolling for a backdoor of Danny. And Tyler's like, dude, backdoor. I don't care. I'm ready. Let's do it. Like, we have the numbers. We can get this done. And you think that Enzo, like, is thinking about doing it. And I think he did think about doing it. But, like, and this is what drove me nuts about Enzo's HOH. All week, he's like, I want to make a big move. Like, we got to start making these moves. It's time, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't want to do it, and he won't be the one to do it. He's like, we'll just do it next week. We got to get Kaser out. Like, Kaser's the big target here, when in reality, he's not at all.
No, Kaser's not a threat, really. I mean, maybe he wins some comps, but, like, he's not really the threat. It's the threat is people in your own alliance. That's basically, at this point, that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Got to make some moves.
And if you can get...
And if making the move is, if you make the move and...
You miss...
Let's say you hit and you send her home, but now everyone else in that alliance is like, "What the heck? He just turned on us." Or even if you bring up the idea of sending her home.
But everybody in the house is wanting this. Bailey, Davon, Tyler. The only one that doesn't want it is Cody. Cody's the only one, and Nicole, but they don't care about Nicole. Nicole's not in part of anything. Tyler's not working with Nicole. Who cares? Bailey and Davon kind of is, but she would rather see Nicole go too, so she doesn't care. So the thing is everybody wants her gone, and Cody's playing along like he wants her gone because he can't show, like, opposition to Enzo and Tyler.
Go ahead.
I just don't know why he didn't consider this move more, and I think Enzo just wanted to play it safe because he was scared.
I guarantee it. Being scared at SHOH is very common nowadays. So
yeah, but this makes me think that, or make me want Tyler to win next week, because I think Tyler would just straight up put her on the block, and it would cause chaos.
I don't know if he'd put her straight up on the block. I think he'd backdoor.
Backdoor, maybe. Either way, Kevin takes himself off, clearly, and he acts like he is, like, saved himself. Like, he's like, oh, I was going home, but I saved myself. When he like, dude, you weren't going home. Like, you didn't do anything. Like, you won the comp. Congrats. Like, be proud of that. But, like, he acted like he saved himself. Like, he...
Yeah, Kevin has a... He thinks everyone's out to get him. He's paranoid in the house real bad. If something doesn't go his way, he's like, oh, no, I'm going home. It's so frustrating, but...
Yep. And so Enzo stands up, and he's like, I got to put someone up that the target in the house is definitely going to go home, so I got to put up Christmas. And I was so mad. I was like, I really wanted to see Danny go up because it would have been, she would have had no idea, and it would have been awesome.
I thought we were going to get to see it, and I was like,
I haven't seen a good blindside in so long, and it would have been so good.
I'm itching for it. Literally during commercial break, dropped for that last, I was like, oh, it's starting to get good. I'm getting nervous. I'm ready to see something happen here. And then literally of all 17 scenarios, the worst one goes up.
Yep. Because if Danny would have freaked out, like it would have been panic mode, and it would have been awesome.
Yeah, I would have loved it.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Kaser's going home. There's no way. I mean, Christmas is not going home this week, and it sucks. I wish Kaser would stay because I think he could mix things up if he could win a comp. But next week should be interesting.
I hope it's interesting. Everyone's
I'm gonna be so mad if Danny wins tomorrow. Like, it is gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
You think Danny would target anybody?
No, not at this point, unless she's caught wind of like people wanting her out. But I don't know if she has or not.
Has Nicole been around for anyone talking about them wanting Danny out?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know.
If she has,
she may have caught wind of it,
which means it may be So,
but I don't think so because nothing has been like too crazy. So I don't know. I guess we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow should be interesting, and hopefully, like I said, I say this every week. I'm excited to see who gets power.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Well, anything else that you have?
Heart and mind is clear.
I hate you. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night for the live vote and eviction, talking about it, seeing who won HOH, and hopefully we'll have a really exciting week next week. Like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you want to watch us, if you want to watch us record these live, we go live about 20-30 minutes after every episode at twitch.tv/realityrundown. We would appreciate if you stop by. That's all you got. That's all I got. We appreciate you guys for listening. Have a good one.
Peace.